Alright, I think stream should be online. Let me... Yeah, I can see myself now. Alright, so I decided to just restart this whole thing because I didn't get anywhere and I was interrupted early on. So what I'm trying to do here is that we have what I should call like a hard refactoring of the OpenSuspect code, because last time I've run into some issues that after long deliberation with the other developers we were unable to resolve. So new repository under the name OpenSus. You can see I forked it as nice micro. I'm already working on this main menu development feature branch, and what we decided is to go with feature branches in the main repository too. So you can see this is the new OpenSus repository. Did I not give it a star yet? You should give a star to our repository here. Yo, Moxfelix, welcome to the chat. So what we are doing here is I have created this create join feature branch on the main repository. This is going to be nice because we can do the pull requests to this, and this we can merge into the feature branch without strict code review, and we only do the strict code review once the feature is implemented, and we are deciding to merge it into the main repository. And using this this is good because so maybe we will set up that like random people will have to have more code review, but if we are just working together, someone can just push here and we can merge it, like can do a pull request to the feature branch, we can merge it into the feature branch right away, and I can just go into my Git, and you can see in my Git that I added this, you can use this command here, let me highlight it, the git remote add upstream, and copy this Git, and that you can use to get the newest changes from the feature branch if someone else. So for example, Moxfelix is in the chat now, so if he decides to push his changes to the repository, maybe he corrects some mistake in what I was doing, or maybe fixes a bug for me, and that can be merged right away into the feature branch, and I can just pull the feature branch back to my own development environment, I guess. And so I'm not going to stream long. So Moxfelix said in the chat that cannot stay long because it's almost midnight. Well, I don't want to stay too long either because I am already quite sleepy, and tomorrow I will have to deal with a few official matters, which is never a fun thing to do. So the current state is I am remaking the main menu. Maybe it's just very simple re-implementation of the main menu. I mean, this sprite is only here for, I don't know, I was just trying to figure out how to make like a dynamic window. But anyways, so what we have is we will have a main menu, and main menu contains these items, and compared to the original implementation, which is I have no friggin' idea what's going on here with this. Everything is like button inside this, and then everything is kind of multiple layers. I'm just trying to simplify this, and what actually is working at the moment is the quit button. So that is very important, most important function. You can press the quit button. Oh, what's going on? Did the most important function? Oh, it does not work because I should hide all these other objects here. Yeah, first those have to be hidden. This is the game, this is how it should look, and if I press the quit button, it quits the program. Very nice, very important function already implemented. And so how it works is basically we just use the most simple what is it, connecting the signal, and they'll just quit. The other buttons are just connected to this assert. So I learned this from the Coding Daily stream. Shout out to Coding Daily. So whenever we add the new function which is not implemented, I just add this assertion. So whenever, you know, we get into the situation where it should be working, we can just find it by running into an assertion error. So press join game, and well, you can see that there is an assertion failed over there, and we can stop. And then once we implement it, of course, we remove the assertions. But this will always just remind us if there is anything that we did not do yet and we will have to do later. So what I was trying to do before I started the stream is, so what I want is game creation. So this will, what it will do, it will hide the main menu and will open this create game menu, which will have to contain two text inputs. One is the port and one is going to be, so this should be just the port container maybe. Let me just make this a little bigger here, and then I should copy and paste it. Oh no, let's first make it like I need to figure out how the hell do I actually put a text here in this line edit, not the line edit, in the port text. Because if I just type something here, I typed port here, does not do anything. There is another text input here, doesn't do anything. So we are using camel case. I think camel case was used for the like these elements, and then we can change that. So if we are against camel case, I guess we can change it, but yeah, I don't know, because the automatically generated function names has all these underscores. But if you can see the control, for example, it starts with a capital C. But this is like, I mean, we can come up with this. This is, yeah, it should be consistent. That's the, I don't mind which one we use, but let's try to be at least somewhat consistent. So we have a coding guideline, and the coding guideline contains camel case. So if I code, let's open that in actually GitHub, because that actually opens the markdown properly. So in this we used this capitalization with which, okay. Anyways, what I was trying to keep in mind is that function should start with a verb and the class should start with a noun. Okay, so that's the standard I'm trying to. So it's nothing. Well, the join game menu. Well, join is a verb, but it's actually like, I don't know. That's yeah. Let's figure out how the hell do I put a text into this. I know that I made a theme, so let me just move my camera to the left hand side for a second. So I made a theme here which contains the, I guess I need to pull my camera up there. So which contains the font, this Roboto bold font that was there in the original one. And so I made this theme with this default font, which is 32 size. So that's already done, and I think I've already, so if I go back to port text here, yeah, it already has the main theme is applied to that. So the problem is probably not the not the font. This one also, I think, yeah, main theme is there. And if you have any like suggestions for the standard, you can always just change the coding guidelines and make a pull request with that change, and we can discuss that. So port text, is this not this is called the label, so I would guess this is what I should use for the label, but we can always check what DuckDuckGo says. Rich text label can contain custom text, font, images, and some basic formatting. Unlike label, okay, maybe I just should use the regular label. Can I change this? Change type to just regular label. Yeah, probably this is what I should go with here. The theme stayed, and now, alright, this one suddenly works. Good. So this will be port. Can I give this max length? I can give it maximum length. What do I have? Well, I don't know. What is the 4269? What was the original default port? Something like this. But if I put in more numbers, that suddenly doesn't look good. Size flags. I don't think this has any effect here. Line edit 469 420. Yeah. Alright, I almost remembered correctly. Maybe we should have a different port this time, because, you know, let's not accidentally try to pair the two uncompatible versions here. But I just don't see what's... So we need to go back to the regular text label. Is there anything about that it says about its size? Well, I guess I need to just change. Was a good port? Well, every port is a good port that works. So whatever am I? Alright, so this one, I cannot even just select and resize it for some strange... Or maybe this is what I should change. Maybe menu point, but this is big, and this one should maybe just expand. No, fill. But even if I set it to fill, this text is still not big. So I guess I will pass on this one, and someone knows the answer can do a pull request and change this. So let me just copy and paste it. I don't want to waste too much time on unimportant things, because time is limited. So name, container, and this is going to be name, text, and name input. And I am kind of tempted to just make like a separate file for this, but before the join game menu, just add it separately. But I think because this is going to be slightly different, it's better to... Okay, let's just delete that node from over there. So it's better just copy and paste the whole thing, and in this case, the join game menu case, what we are going to be doing is okay, so first I should have changed here actually name Yeah, now hide this one and show this one. Name, and the name should be it should be available to be very long even, so this one we can keep it empty. Now that I changed all these things, I guess let's delete this one and copy again. And I think, okay, before I do that, let's just try this out. Let's just make it work. And so what we do is the create game button. We will use it to, I guess we can make onReady var create game menu, and this will be, how do I do that? What is the syntax of getting I guess let me just cheat here and I will just check out something that I vaguely remember has something like that. Oh, I just say the colon and then the type and then just type in the, alright, so colon, and this is main menu and create game menu. This is, what is it? It's a control. Is it? No, it's not just a regular control. What's the type of this? Trying to change, no, a margin container. All right. Margin container equals create game menu. Great. So if I just say this one, when the create game, this one dot visible equals true, and also I need to have a same thing for the main menu, which is going to be main menu, and this should be main underscore menu dot visible equals false. And so this assertion can be removed from here. So let's see if this works. Yes. Great. So we just we can basically, I guess, duplicate this whole thing for the join game and the dedicated server too, and just copy paste, because differences are going to be, we can simplify how it looks. Copy and then paste, and also let's copy this whole thing and paste it, and this will be called dedicated menu. Great, so let's copy this string twice more and join. Why don't you work? Come on. Okay, maybe it's very allergic to the fact that I have some duplication here. Okay, now the tab completion works. And we can just add these lines here and change things. So server start button will be the dedicated, and this is going to be the join menu.visible. Great progress has been made. Now we just have to change all these different menus, so everything is create that's nice, and join. We'll have to add a new container which will be added here on the top, and there will be hostname container and hostname text and hostname input, and this will contain, or just maybe just host, and we can change the kind of placeholder text here, hostname or IP or something like that. And now if I do this, oh damn, I should, yeah, this should be hidden, no, hidden, and main menu, that's what should be open. And now create game. Okay, the back button does not work yet. So let's make the back button work. Simplest way is I just make a, okay, let's just I don't know, maybe start with this one. We'll add a new signal there, probably call it address or server IP. Yeah, that's maybe better name. So we'll have a back button pressed, and back button there will be universal, so we are going to be having a main menu visible true, and everything else will be made invisible. Dedicated, join menu, what am I doing, not here, and also create menu, and these should be all false. And I guess now what else do we need to do is we need to connect the back buttons to the same. What? No, I don't need anything. I just want to see the function names. Why can't I just connect it to an existing function over there? I mean, I could always... Oh, it's the same name. Is it going to be the same? Oh, it's the same name, so I shouldn't even worry about that for even a second. Because I named the button the same and the automatic function name is the same, or the suggested function name rather. So I need to make main menu visible here, and I think everything else. Yeah, this looks good, let's try. Maybe you could enumerate menu type, then have the menus show height based on the menu type set. Might remove some code duplication. Yeah, we can optimize that later. That's a good idea. In this case, I just want to make this work. And the thing is, at least in this way, okay, in the dedicated server case, we don't have a name. We shouldn't have a player name, right? So I need to remove that. Because here at least we have everything in the editor, which is, you know, hard-coded, so the UI is hard-coded, but at least we have it in the editor. if we want to make the UI like very flexible, we could just create everything from code, even enumerate things, enumerate menu type. Yeah, I'm not really, I don't know exactly which one would be better idea. This is this is fastest, that's why I chose run with this one, and because it's in the editor, edited from the editor. Okay, so let me just add one more thing before I commit this, and that should be create game starter should have a function, and then this should be named join game starter. This should also have a function for it, dedicated server. So it can be called, let's just call it dedicated. And we don't need to implement everything. I can always open a PR with my suggestion. Yeah, that's the, yeah. If you have like a better implementation idea, you can always do that, open a PR, and it's going to be nice. And so I wanted to stream on the OpenSuspect channel, but I think there is some kind of the 24-hour period we have to apply to be able to stream there. If anyone is interested in activating that so we can stream our development there next time, that would be nice. So I'm just going to be assert false. Not implemented yet. Join game not implemented yet. And because I wanted to like stream there and wanted to create a new stream, but there was something, and then I just decided I had other things to do, so I just scheduled the stream on my channel. Okay, so create game, assertion, game start, not implemented yet. Create. Oh, what? Do I have to stop from there? And then if I click join game, oh, that also has create name game on the join game is not implemented. That's good, but this should be called join game, and the dedicated menu is like create game that works. And so this will give us the assertion error with dedicated server not implemented yet. What a nice thing that we have here. So let me go back to my oversized bright day mode, light mode terminal here, and let's check out the Git status. We have modified main menu and added a new file, which is the code. So let's just git add everything and git commit -m. Then I guess this one I will just make a PR to the to the feature branch we have here. And how do I do that? Oh, first I need to push, sorry. Git push origin main menu dev. And now comes the time when I have to enter my passphrase for 1,000,000 times for git lfs to actually pick up on everything, I guess. Because the other repositories that don't have git lfs turned on only ask for my passphrase once. And I couldn't manage to set up the GNOME keyring for me to remember the passphrase. Now that we have this, okay, I want to make a pull request to create join. And I think I will just call it main menu implemented naively, and because it's a very naive implementation of the main menu. And you can see that this one doesn't have any code review, so if anyone wants to just merge it right away, they can. I just don't password protect my SSH keys. Yeah, that's another option. Alright. So I guess the easy things are all done. And we should start. Okay, so one of my design goals here was, in this new implementation, is to try to have a very, very specific... Okay, why do I have so many empty lines here? So one of the design goals is to have specific roles in very specific places, and much less confusing directory structure also than the original game had. Like, so many directories. The original implementation has so many directories. So what I will have to do now is just have like a very simple networking thingy, for which I will create a new folder, which I will name autoloads, because it will contain the singletons, which will take care of most of the things that has to be taken care of all the time, and don't really just aren't really specific to single scenes, because, you know, this is just one scene. We will have to load a new scene after we join the game, for example. And for that, I guess, new script, and the new script will be gd script autoloads autolads. Spelled wrong, but autolads are much better than autoloads. It's like I don't know, Scotland. Is lad a Scottish word? I guess so. Anyways, let's fix this before auto loads. Thank you for the stream to correct this. Me and the auto lads. Okay, the new script. That should be. So in the original implementation we had one that's called network. I think a networking is. But everything will have to deal with networking. So this is more like a join and create and join game. So kind of which handles the connection with the clients. So what should we call this autoload? I think network is just too broad a term and is not really specific on what this is going to. What is a built-in script? Inherits node. Let's think about it. Well, I guess I can just name it anything for this development part, and we can just find a better suited name for it later, but let me just maybe connections. I mean, I know like this name of the scripts is not that important in the grand scheme of things, except that we are working on this collectively, so things. Okay, I can create the name it connections for now, and we can deliberate on it later, I guess. No, not the editor settings. This is project settings and auto load. Connections, less, yes. Global variable, that means globally available, singleton. Is the stream connection, stream quality good? Is it just my YouTube Studio telling me that it's bad? 144p. Anyways. So we added connections.gd, so we might as well start to edit it. $720p, that's nice, that's what I am streaming at. Because this is a tutorial and you should be able to see everything important in a tutorial at 720p. The game, of course, so I changed, so original implementation had a different thing for, I cannot really find where the display, so I changed the display, game is displayed on full HD. So, because what we did is we used a smaller resolution and that got, so all the assets were downsized, and then when you put it full screen, then the downside assets get upsized again. So I just set the, the native pixel size, just the full HD size. I think that's a reasonable thing for PC game. And I just use the test screen size scaled down, so like 720p, so whenever I open it doesn't fill up my whole screen, so I can test the game in a like smaller window. And for these connections, what we need to do is, I guess we will have to have a list of connections. Is this how I tell Godot that this should be a list? And for this one, I should have opened already a tutorial for this, but the Godot tutorial for basic networking is quite good. So we could initializing network, synchronizing the game. So high-level multiplayer, I think this is kind of contains a tutorial. Yeah, this is what I was reading. It's a very interesting, or not rather, very simple thing to do. So we need to create an object for networking, this networking multiplayer eNet, I guess, and we can just create a server or create a client. And we can always reference it back with the getTree.getNetwork peer. And then we will be able to check whether we are the server or not, and whether so this is how we terminate. Nice. And then we need to manage the connection. So let's just what my idea of making the code a little more easy to follow is to have client-side code and server-side code separated. and people can tell me later if it's stupid or not. And so first of all, if we want to create a server, then I guess we can have a function create server. Maybe it should be separate files even. Yeah, I am not sure about having separate files because in general, yeah. I mean, first let's just start in the same file and we can separate them into the separate ones. Or should they inherit from the main network file? I think that would make more complications because the network can always simply accessed via just the get tree.network peer. So even if we are in other files, we can always just use this to get the networking, the Godot networking thingy. And we can, I think the having in separate files server and the client code, the problem with that is if you do that, you cannot RPC between them, or RPCing between them is gets more complicated. So if you want to have a remote function call, that would that might ruin. So you cannot. You have to have it in the same file to be able to have a remote function call between the server and the client. But I am not 100% sure about that, so correct me if I'm wrong. So server will be created, server port max players. So yeah, so we need to get port number and, well, max players we can just define a constant here at the moment, and I guess that can be whatever we want. Port number and the function for creating a client, I guess that's going to need not just the port number but also server IP. So I'm just going to copy paste it from the tutorial because that's what we do here, I guess. And I guess we can I guess this line we don't really need at this point, right? We don't need to get back all that information. We need to get these. That seems to be fine. And what it says is we need to manage connections, self-refuse new network connections. So we can use this to, yeah, I don't care about that right now. So this is one very simple lobby implementation. Hey Maximilian, I use Arch by the way. Did you just ask me so I can say I use Arch by the way? Welcome to the chat. So this actually makes kind of player info. Oh, yeah, maybe using dictionary for the list of, or Well, we can have a list of connections. Yeah, that's a dictionary, makes a lot more sense. We all use Arch here, by the way. Oh yeah, all of these make a lot of sense to connect here. So can I just... copy all these functions there and just try to figure this one out. Player connected and... Okay, so this one is going to be brushes sleeves smugly, like, I guess this is not the sleeves. How do you brush your... This is not my sleeves, these are my shoulders. I don't know. I don't know what kind of motion you're referring to. But smugness is going well. Oh, shoulder, yeah, alright. Called on both clients and server when a peer connects. Send my info. So what I need to figure out... Okay, let me just copy all these, because this makes sense, I guess. And it also makes sense to do this. Mix tabs and spaces in indentation. Oh. That's a cardinal sin. Anyways, the smugness is what's most important here. So network peer connected, network peer disconnected, connected to server, and connection failed. So these are... I mean, why do we have underscores in the beginning there? What's the point in this? I don't know. What is the naming convention with underscores? I don't really know. I don't like them. They don't seem necessary. So we create the... Is this going to be this simple? So there is no... So in this sample here, why don't we have any, like any of these? Do they just... Can I merge your main menu branch? Yeah, you can merge it if you find it acceptable. You can merge it. I just didn't bother to do it myself. You might have already noticed something different with remote. Okay, so I think this makes... Okay, it seemed much easier when I just read the tutorial without actually trying to implement it. But it seems to me that this will actually just initiate the connection, and then we will be waiting for the server to say something to us, and if the server says something to us, then we will get the connected to the server. And so this should be a function connected Okay, and let's keep to our naming conventions here. And so once we connected properly, then this only called in clients and server, we can use this to register our player. So we need, on the server side of things, we will need a function that will let us okay, let me just create the empty bodies here with the assertions. So we need a connected OK for the connected fail and a connected fail, and after the connected OK for our client side, we can have a server disconnected, which will be used for, like, I guess if the server disconnects in the meantime. Okay, the connected, or maybe okay, so our convention is to use the verb first and then the nouns in function names. And the server functions will be, I guess, are those the server? Only called on clients, not server. Server disconnected, server kicked us. Could not even connect to the server. Okay. Player connect, called on both client and server when a peer connects. Alright, so this one is even called, so if one client is already connected to the server, this will be called on both the server and the other client. Okay, I guess so. Maybe this just cannot be done smoothly. And the player connected and player disconnected also. But I want this to be only handled by the server. Player disconnects. So the player or the server should decide who they kick, and the server should let's have a disconnected player. And if anyone has any problem with my naming conventions or anything, you can always tell me, or I don't know, comment on my code on GitHub. And so once the peer is connected, it will receive a connected to the server thing, and in the tutorial they do player connected, called on both client and server when a peer connects. Send my info. So what they do is whenever someone connects, everyone will send their own info via this register player, which I think it makes things a little more complicated. What I want to do is when I am connected to the server, that's when I would like to send my name. to the server. So I guess I will have to store my own name here. Or do we outsource that to somewhere else? Because we need to save. So if I go back to the 2D editor here, we join the game. Let me just run this really quickly. So we join the game. We give a player name. So if someone can help me fix these text boxes, that would be nice. That's already committed to the feature branch on GitHub. But the thing is, we need to give a player name here, and the same thing if we create a game, not dedicated server, you have to store the name somewhere. And I think in the original implementation, where do we store the player name? Your own name does this network autoload network singleton saves your own name. Yeah, player name has a set get and the get player name. Where is get player name? Why cannot I just click on this? Oh, here it is. I just find it very strange, or I don't feel like it's really well fitted to be put in the networking thingy. But this enumeration actually makes a lot of sense. I guess. We can use this enumeration. That makes a lot of sense. So we can do we use this enumeration for anything here? Yeah, connection.local. Yeah, so if someone needs to check what is our connection type, we can use that. And just use a universal. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess, to use this. And what is missing here? The setter function. Do we have to, like, the toss has to be implemented manually? Oh, yes. All right. Well, that's sad. But I guess whatever. And then we need get connection type, because this is just going to be. All right, go away. Much better. And this is universal function, so this is going to be here. Oh, and maybe we should use this in the main menu too, to denote for every function we should tell the interpreter, or at least enforce you know, static typing, well, that's what I'm saying. Static typing lets us have not that many mistakes. Oh well, this is going to be a type connection. Right? How does this work here? Return, is it an integer? It returns an integer. I guess that's just silly. But connection is this. It's connection K. This should be connection type. This should be connection types. Invalid type, not a script or a class, or couldn't be found on base self. So why cannot I use an enumeration? Is it not considered a type? What a weird thing. Connection type list. Let's make it more distinct than connection types. And so what else? What else? Okay, let's keep a time limit here for us, like maybe 15-20 minutes for this stream before we all go to bed. I mean, at least me, I will. You do whatever you want after watching the stream. But anyways, because if I don't figure it out in those times, I can always, you know, just commit the work in progress to my branch. Maybe make a work in progress pull request and other people can work on it. So connected, okay. In that case, so first of all, I guess when we create server, we also have to receive player, or yeah, it's player name. So the player name, that's a good port number. Int player name string. Wait, why is string a capital S? str. That's no? TTRSS. Welcome to the stream. So str is not valid, but string is. Yeah, it seems like integer is. Okay, so it's hard to be consistent with the cases if even Godot itself is not consistent. So let's do the static typing as often as we can, because that will force us think about everything before we type. And think about before typing is the first rule of warfare, I guess, first rule of Linux. And the same will be so at the moment, well, server, can server be also integer and also string? I mean, does Godot work with DNS resolution? I have no idea. We can always update this later. But then I should, I guess, the host name container. Okay, we just say host. And that can mean anything, so that's, I don't need to rename that. I have made a PR with my suggested refactor. Oh, already. Oh, right, that's nice. That's the power of streaming, I guess. We can work together and just... Okay, so I did all these. I guess then we will be conflicting on suggested refactor for menu code. We will be conflicting with the... Wait, why is... What's going on here? Oh, you made it to main. You should you delete this what is it? PR, and make the PR not to the main branch but the other one. That's why I was confused. Why is it blocked? Or maybe you can modify it. I don't know. No problem. We all make mistakes. Alright, already fixed. Nice. Then let me take a look. Game create button. So visible menu. Create game. Oh. Oh, so you only changed the code and not the TSCN. Okay. You have a match case here. Yeah, looks nice. Let me... Okay, what I'm going to do... How do I deal with this? So what I'm going to do here is that means that... Okay, can I ask you to also add the this typing things? So we will then I will just, or can I? No, that will be a merge conflict because I think we just changed the same line two different ways. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense actually. Makes a lot of sense. And so if you just could add also these the type, what is it, type declarations or type, how do you call it? It's not a declaration, right? It's something else. Whatever, just please add these two, and then I will... This just tells the interpreter that this function is expecting a void return. So it does not expect anything to be returned. So I think it's a good idea to mark all the functions with what type do we expect it to return, because it will make debugging much more easier once we have a lot of interconnected functions. So the interpreter will see that this function is going to return a void, and we'll check it if it really does not have any. It doesn't matter that much with the void, but when in case of like you return an integer, then the interpreter will know. Hopefully it can check even before just running the code that if we call the get connection type, that will always result in an integer. And if we keep this, so I've been watching some very long streams about Python coding, and the guy had a lot of problems when the typing is not enforced properly. So in Python the typing is really poorly enforced, and that guy was developing alone and even then ran into issues. So where was I? I did all these things, and then we also have to have a variable that will contain my name, and this will be a string, and the string is somehow capital S. And should we have a setGet for that too? Yes, I guess. And this is an end. The getter return. Okay, yeah, this is going to show you like, okay, so the getter return type integer doesn't match the variable's type. So you can see now that it throws us an error because this function is expected to return an integer, but it actually is assigned to something that's expecting a string. So it's much easier to see these problems right in the editor, I guess, instead of running into these. Okay, so let me just save everything. Go back to the pull requests here. Correctly type functions. Let me check the files. Looking good. So what I'm going to do, let me check my Git status. I will revert my src/ui. Okay, first of all, I need to close Godot here. We already saved everything. Let me check. Okay, let me just merge it, because there is nothing really that shouldn't be done. So now if we go back to the code, I guess, and create -join. Yeah, this is what I will have to pull, but first let me just light more terminal, scorching the retinas. I am so sorry. So this one is main menu. We can reset this and TSC, and that's why what have, oh, maybe probably that's just because. Okay, git restore src/ui_elements main menu.gd, git add all functions related to networking added. Okay, I committed this, and then let's git pull and upstream. And what's the name of that branch? Create join, and we will just pull upstream to there, hopefully. And the tool called Tig to manage my Git. Hint, you have divergent branches and need to specify. New branch upstream create join. Yeah, we have. I don't know why is Git complaining here for me, because I did not ask it to do anything for me. Git. What I want to do now is git rebase, I guess, on upstream / create join, right? Successfully rebased and updated. Okay, so if I check my git log here, then yeah, it should be, everything should be fine, I guess. Yeah, this is origin main, that's cool, and then we merged. Oh no, this is origin main menu dev. That is on my, it's on my fork, so that's nice. That's got merged back into the main. Okay, the origin main is here. Yeah, I think everything's fine. Also, do you reckon we can rename create join to development or testing? I think it's better to keep it this way and then just merge it into the main and just forget it and make, for every feature, make a new feature branch. I mean, it's a slightly clunky name. That is true. I mean, I guess we can argue about this. I mean, my idea was to use like a separate branch for each feature, hence the name feature branch, but we can go by other methods too. I mean, it's not set in stone. Nice. And does it work? Works like charm. Most important function, exiting the program, works. Great. So connections. So I think what I will implement here is a really quickly just connected OK. We need a server-side function that will okay, not here, but so connected new player. What should we do with that information? Probably we can probably oh well, this is such a weird thing, this connected new player. Yeah, I think in the tutorial they just use it to player connected. Yeah, they just use it as a, yeah, this is going to be probably useless for us. So probably we'll have to remove that. Well, it's good that it works because I did not test it at all. Yeah, well, this is why it's feature branch. Nice. All right, so I think okay, so I think time's almost up, but I really just want to, I guess doing these asserts here is not really a good idea if we are not going to use them. And disconnected player, that will probably use that. Connected new player will probably not going to use that, because instead every player will manually send their own data. So I guess function receive new player data, and the data it will receive at this point is player name. And how do I check? I guess it's we need to check the ID, RPC sender ID. And then we will just simply add that to the list connections. ID equals player name. And this should be sent out to all the clients. And that should be, I guess that should be the Puppet function, right? Because if it's, well, yeah, I guess because if it is the Puppet, that would mean that it will be only called by the server. It can only be called by the server on a client. Am I right? So when a server is created, it will also create, I think 1 is the connection name, but I could always just check my own number using, how do we check our own number? I am just making all of my viewers hate me for switching between dark and bright windows. Wait, there is nothing in the tutorial about checking my own ID. Get tree is network server. Do I need to use the append function on dictionaries in Godot if I want to add new elements? Or is the append function used here? Oh, there's a peers list that is Okay, so that's only contained. Oh my, so it's a kind of duplication. Anyways, how do I check my own ID? I know server is what it is. Well, what's the problem here? Expected var or function. Oh, I have to specify that it's a function. It's a Puppet function. As we know, server is 1, so that's always good. And this is also a good idea to call it sender ID. The best feature I believe KDE has to offer is the eternal dark mode. I barely even experience light window on my computer. Oh. So even I saw on your screenshot that even GitHub is in dark mode on your side. Does the Godot website have a dark mode? I have no idea. P4 hello says hello Mr. Game Developer. Well, hello and welcome to the stream. You just arrived right before everything goes up in flames, I guess. And so what we do when receive bulk player data is, I guess we need to RPC. How do I RPC? Can I just see the tutorial? RPC ID, because I send back peer ID is going to be the same as the sender ID, and then a method is going to be receive bulk player data, and then I can send actual data, right? Yes. Which is just going to be the list connections. GitHub goes off your system dark/light mode preferences. Wow, that's interesting. I don't know what is my system. Isn't declared in the current scope. What? Why are you saying that it's not declared? It's declared right here. Oh, I have to. Oh, this have to be. What a weird thing that I have to send the name of the function as a string. This is the weirdest thing in Godot that always throws me off. And so what we can do is when we first of all we need to send the sender. Send with Godot and YouTube. It says light seeing as Godot docs GitHub and your terminal are blinding bright. Well, my terminal, it is ST, so it doesn't go off on any system theme. I have to hard code the colors into the executable because that's suckless for you. And so on DWM, I have like a configuration tool for GTK themes, but I have no idea. So if you receive the bulk player data, I guess what we can do here is just simply make the list connections equals connections. It's probably not the best way to do it. So is it true that Puppet functions will be only able to call it from the server, so I don't have to check for the server. Whether the server is calling it, I don't know. Someone can add the check later if necessary. So this is going to be dictionary. That is good, but we also, so once we connect it, we need to RPC the server and receive new player data is going to be that, and the data we will going to send there is going to be my name. And now we are working from backwards because I also have to save my name here. Might have a slight KDE fanboy bias. Well, I mean, I was using the Cinnamon desktop for the longest time, and I just, out of curiosity, I decided to install DWM. And I was like, yeah, I will just jump in DWM a few times, but mostly I will just going to be using the Cinnamon desktop because that's just much easier. And I literally haven't booted into Cinnamon desktop, like just once to try out something. DWM is just really working well for me, for what I want to do. Okay, so now I registered my name, and when the connection is good, then I just RPC the server receives my information, and then the server sends my information out, sends me back everyone else's information, but the server should also send my information to every other player, right? So we need a Puppet function for the other people here to receive player data, and that is just going to be an ID, which is an integer, and the name, which is a string, and this will return nothing. I tried tiling for a bit, it broke my brain. Yeah, I don't know. So I saw i3. So everyone says that, oh, if you want to get into tiling, try i3. I was like, but I took a look at it and it didn't really seem like a good idea to me. What I like about DWM is that there is like, everything is automated. So if I just open a new terminal here, oh, I'm in floating mode. So if I go back to the tiling mode, I open a new terminal. Always the newest one is on the top and focused. If I go back to my Godot and I want to focus it on full screen, I can do that. I can just focus it to the main window. I can do a few tricks like increase, decrease the size. And also, what else? Do this, but that's not really useful in most cases. You just have to memorize the keystrokes. That's the difficult thing. Usually don't have more than 3 windows opened on the same tag anyways, and switching between like full screen applications based on tag numbers is like just 2, 3, 4, 5 convenience. I really enjoy it. My monitor is not big enough to have many windows. Yeah, if you just have a small monitor with only one and you can only use just one window at once, then yeah. The only thing that I find very frustrating, or rather weird, about DWM is how it handles 2 monitors. It's requires a little getting used to. So receive player data, let's validate if ID equals get tree how do I check my own ID? Now it's the question. Do off signal? No, I don't care. I need to get network peer. How do I get my own ID? Damn it. Get my ID is get network unique ID. Alright. I can copy this. If ID is not my own ID, then I will colon list connections ID equals name. So I don't let the server tell me what my name is. I already know my name, I guess. That's the thing that has to be done here. My name equals player name, but then I will have to save my name into this table too for myself, and I need to get my ID as peer.get unique ID. Is my ID. And this is integer. So connected new player, server does nothing. Okay, so I'm not going to assert anything here because I'm just going to make these functions do nothing intentionally. There is nothing I want to implement here. Well, I guess on disconnect, that's not true. Disconnect, I want to implement something later. Will this work? Yeah, for first of all, we need to connect the main menu to this whole thing. So yeah, for this, I guess, do I only have main menu? Yeah, I only made the functions. Very nice. Oh, it's the stream only got 7 likes. Thank you very much for the likes, people. What we have to do is connections dot yeah, maybe I should remember the function names I have. Create server and join game. So this is going to connections dot create server. Too few arguments for create server. Expected at least 2. Yes, of course. I need to get. Thank you P4 for giving me 1 more like. So stream is up 8 likes. This is very nice. Thank you very much. So I guess I will have to. That's going to be. Moxolix will hate me for this. Will maybe dislike the video, which I don't see in the live feed if someone dislikes the video. I guess YouTube is it really cares a lot about the creator's psychological needs by not letting everyone know how disliked our videos are. I wish they just sent me money. I can put up with a lot of stuff if I get paid. That's what work is about, having a job is about. But let's not rant about that. Let's try to... Okay. Because I will now just make code duplication on a very, very different level. Maybe I don't need to do it here, because that would just be very, very awful. Maybe 45 dislikes and 8 likes, but I cannot see. Yeah, exactly. All right, so we'll make a variable here that is called port field, which is going to be this port text, which is, what is this? Where do I see label? It's a label. No, but I need the input. Type line edit. It is a line edit. And that will equal create game menu slash menu point slash port container slash port, come on, port input. And this will be port field text. Can I just get the text from it? Yeah, well, I need to make an integer of the text, and then I also need another field which is going to be the name field. Name container, name input. And we will just use the name field dot text. And so create server, what do you require? Create server requires, damn, what am I doing? Port number and player name. Okay, and everything else. Join game starter pressed, then we will have to have same thing, but okay, let me just copy this thing too, but we also have to have the server, but this one is going to be join game menu. IP field, this will be port container, no, this will be hostname container slash hostname text. Am I looking at OpenSuspect website? Is Open Collective basically like a Patreon or Subscribestar? Yeah, but yes, but also no. I guess because it's specifically for like projects and not single creators. and it is to simplify something. Hostname input, that's what I need. And connections dot join game, and here we need IP, port, what? Port and name. Yeah, because in the beginning when we started the OpenSuspect project, we had like people from all over the world, and yeah, so taxation is different for everyone. And if you just want to use the funds to, I don't know, pay for a web server or something, then we don't want anyone to receive the money personally and then spend it. We want the project to be able to spend it directly. But if you just want to like just help me out, I have my own Patreon with 0 subscribers at the moment. I have 0 people on my Patreon. Yeah, exactly. P4 is right with the assessment that taxation is. Separate those variables into their own function, less code dupe. Well, but we need like to reference the different. So here I need to reference the join game menu, and here I have to reference the create game menu. So it's well, the two options are either we have code duplication or we have a more complicated method of creating the UI from code instead of having it in the editor. And I mean, I chose the method which I could implement faster. Okay, so in theory, all the functions are here. I hope it's IP and port, not port and IP. So I guess, oh no, I should have went back to floating mode. So now if I just say create game, of course nothing happens, because why would anything happen? But I can well, if we don't even... Okay, so what I need is another window of Godot. Maybe I open it another screen. And what I'm going to do here is I will just put breakpoints in every server function that I hope to do. And let's just run this. And when I say create server and type in a name, create game, now we triggered the breakpoint. Let me hide my camera so everyone can see what's going on here. Let's step over this one, peer create net, and then list connections 0. So now we have in our list connections, you can see that I have my name in here. And if I just say let's run, then it will just run forever. But then I can open or run this same thing in another window. Let me bring it to this screen. Okay, so you can see here I opened another Godot window or other OpenSuspect window. and I will join the game here with some other, let's make it just numbers. Can I join the game? What's happening? It's not triggering anything in here. So I guess join game is not working. Let's test that with closing this. And I need breakpoints here, which is join game connected OK, and also everything else. So first of all, for this to work, I need to run a server, which I just So I will make a server here. This I made with the other instance of Godot. So let's just start this instance here and join game and press join game. And now, oh no. Okay, so now we are in a breakpoint of join game. Here create client. Create client in base network multiplayer, and it cannot convert one argument from int to string. Oh. Okay. So it actually expects a string. So this is not going to be, it is really going to be the server name. Very good. But that will also mean that I now... Well, why don't you complain? Why don't you complain that I have the... Maybe I have to save this first. Wait, what? Now what's the problem? Oh. Sorry. Now it works. Now why don't you complain? Okay, now it complains. Alright. We want a string. Alright, Smoxflies, good night. I'm just going to test this thing and commit to the repo and probably do a pull request if I find it working. And you can check tomorrow morning or whenever tomorrow you have time for this. IP is undeclared because it's got renamed host. So this means everything changed, so I should just close this instance. Let me run the server instance. Here, create game, so this should be on, and I will just... Damn it! I should also go to bed very soon. Oh, because I need to localhost first of all. I forgot to type in localhost, and that's a problem. And now time to check the debugger. We got an ID, very long number, you can see it down here, 717 something. And we did this, and now we have the list of connections, we have our own name and own number here. And now it should okay. I guess what I will have to do is just instead I will have to add a few things, I guess. Was the problem that I doesn't work with localhost? I have to type in the (42.690) is the do I have to just say 127.0.0.1? Okay, we reached the breakpoint. Oh, because I pressed the back button. Alright, it's getting late, so debugging is going to be a job for another day. So I will just save everything. What? Quit. Okay, so save everything. I just opened Audacity by pressing the wrong keyboard combination. Let me check git diff. Yeah, oh my god, why is there a tab over there? Some of my function declarations had a white space somewhere here. Go away. Anyways, let's just save this git add git commit -m work in progress networking implementation, and thank you for watching P4, and I will git push origin main menu dev. Maybe this is my thing here. I can just make oh my, the LFS large file git LFS git large file synchronization just makes me go crazy typing in my passphrase a million times. So I could make a pull request from this. Maybe I will just make a work in progress so everyone can see that I was working on this. And I need to change it to a where do I change it? Oh, here. Yes, create draft pull request. And so everyone will be able to tell that it is not fully implemented yet. So, alright, thank you for watching this stream. I will probably work on the debugging sometime, probably not streaming it, figuring out what's wrong, and once I figure it out, I will tell you about the details of how I made it work. And thank you for watching. Like, subscribe if you haven't done so, and of course check out all my social media and other things for which I should have an overlay here set up, but I don't. So that's that. Bye bye.